Hello, ninth graders. My name is Miss Ramos. I'm one of the counselors here at Ardrey-Kell, and I'm presenting to you today High School 101, all about high school at Ardrey-Kell. Before we start our lesson today, I need everyone to pull out their Chromebook and type in bit.ly/AK lesson 9 and take the pretest. It's only 6 questions, just about your general knowledge of what student services offers and some general ninth grade information. So the homeroom teacher will pause at this point so that students can go to bit.ly/AK lesson 9 to take the 6-question pretest. Okay, now that you've taken the pretest, this is what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to talk about grades and GPA. We're going to talk about resources here at Ardrey-Kell, and we're going to talk about some extracurricular activities. First, I want to introduce you to our counseling team. We have 8 counselors on staff. We are all assigned to you based on your last name. You can find who your counselor is by going to our website, which is bit.ly/AK student services. That's how you can view the name of your counselor and our email address. It's always good to drop in to see us before or after school, during homeroom, or at lunch. Like I said, we have a website that we use and we post a lot of stuff on. So there is a freshman page. This has information about your freshman year, a general timeline. We have information about test prep, study skills, all kinds of stuff that you'll need throughout your time in high school. You can go to bit.ly/AK student services, or sometimes it's just easier to Google Ardrey-Kell student services and it will come right up. Counselors are here to help students with all kinds of stuff. We help with academic planning, so we help you sign up for your classes every year. We talk about colleges and careers. And of course, we're here for social and emotional development and intervention. So if you're having trouble with a friend or with family, with a teacher, anything like that, we're here to support as well. Let's talk about academic planning first. Credits do count in high school. That's one of the biggest differences from middle school is every time you pass a class with a 60% or higher, you earn 1 credit. Doesn't matter if the class was offered for 1 semester or if you took it throughout the course of the year, you still get 1 credit. You need 24 credits to graduate. So you have to pass 24 credits over the course of your 4 years here at Ardrey-Kell to graduate. However, you can't take PE 24 times and graduate. You have to take this list of classes. So you'll take an English class every year, a math class every year, science every year until your senior year. You'll take a history class every year. You're taking PE now, and then you'll take at least 8 electives, which are kind of the fun classes, anything that's not one of these core areas. You'll take at least 8 that count towards graduation, so that you'll end up with 24 that count towards graduation. Now, if you get a grade of a 0 to a 59, that's an F, and that credit does not count. You would have to make that up in either summer school or by doing it at another time. So it is very important to make sure that you're passing your classes with a 60 or higher so that your credits count towards graduation. How many credits do I need to move from grade to grade? So you can't just pass a couple and move to 10th grade next year. You have to pass 6 classes this year to move on to 10th grade. So that's the most important thing I want you to know about moving from 9th to 10th grade is you need to pass 6 out of your 8 total classes in order to move on to 10th grade. As you get older, the requirements get bigger and bigger. 10th to 11th is 12, 11th to 12th is 18 credits. And then of course to graduate is 24. But for you, what you need to know from 9th to 10th is 6 total credits. Classes that you took in middle school do not count for promotion. They do count towards graduation, but they don't count towards that 6 you need to graduate. I'm sorry, to move on to 10th grade. They do count towards graduation. Okay, how is my GPA calculated? All right, so this is a big chart. It looks a little overwhelming, but let's walk through it. On the left, you have your grades. You get 1 final grade in your class. So in middle school, you're used to getting a progress report and a quarterly grade and da-da-da-da. In high school, you do get all those grades along the way, but the only one that matters is your final grade at the end of the semester or at the end of the year in that class. You get 1 grade. So if you get an A, 90 to 100, B, 80 to 89, and on down. When you get a final grade, that grade is represented by a number of points, which counts towards your GPA. So GPA stands for grade point average. It's a way to understand who you are as a student and the grades that you generally get as a number out of 4, essentially. So when you make an A in a class, you get 4 points towards your GPA. When you make a B, you get 3 points, and you see how that chart goes down. Now, if you're in an honors class, you get an extra 0.5 just for being there. So in honors world history, if you get an A, you get 4.5 points, not just 4. If you get a B, you get 3.5 points, not just 3. If you have any AP classes or are planning to take them later, this is also where you get more GPA points. So if you take AP Psychology and make an A, you would get 5 GPA points. You make AP Psychology, make a B, you get 4 points, and on down the list there you can see. So whatever your final grade is, you get a point value that represents it, and all those are averaged together to make your GPA, which is an average of your grades. So how is GPA calculated? You add all of your grade points and divide it by the number of classes that you've taken. That gives you your GPA. So let's practice. So if this is your schedule for first semester, English 1, you get a B. In a standard class, you get 3 points. In PE, also standard class, let's say you get an A, you get 4 points for that. Because if you go back to our chart, you see that first column there. For an A, you get 4 points, and a B, you get 3 points. In honors earth science, let's say you make a C, a 75. You get, if it was a standard class, you'd only get 2 points. But since it's an honors class, you get an extra half point. So you get 2.5 there. See how it says 2.5? And then honors drafting, let's say you make an A. Since that's an honors class and you got an A, you get 4.5 points. So those are all your GPA points. How do you make an average? You add up all the points together and then you divide it by the number of classes that you've taken. So in this case, it adds up to 14. You divide it by 4 because that's the number of classes you took. This GPA would be 3.5. Kids ask us all the time, is that good? You know, should I do better? That is completely up to you. 3.5 tells me that you're mostly an A-B student and that you work really hard in school, but that's up to you if it should be higher or if you're okay with that. That is individual. It is totally up to you. Now, what happens is, and what's very important to know is this is cumulative. So like a cumulative exam in your class, that means it adds in all the time. So next semester, it'll add in those classes and final grades and on and on and on, all the way up to 12th grade. So the GPA that our seniors are looking at, their GPA, they have it included. Their 9th grade classes are included in that GPA. So if a senior is looking at their record and they see, you know, their GPA is a little bit lower and they look back to freshman year and say, oh, it's because I failed a class, that's still impacting their GPA all the way. So every single grade matters. Every single grade counts from this point forward. So it's super important to protect your GPA by doing your best in every single class. If you made a 0 to a 59 in a class as your final grade, the GPA points is 0. Adding in a 0 into an average brings it down. So please be careful when you're working in your classes and make sure you're doing your best, that you're not averaging a 0, an F, for all of high school. You don't want to do that. So that's how you make GPA. What other things can affect your GPA? Attendance. If you miss more than 10 days of a class and you don't attempt to do any recovery, you'll get an F even if you have a passing grade. So let's say you had 15 absences in gym, but your grade in gym was a 95, but you never met with your teacher to do any recovery work or assignments, your grade would change to a 59, which is an F, because you wouldn't have earned the credit because you didn't make anything up for your absences. And this goes for excused or unexcused. So whether you had, you know, whether you were really sick for 7 days or you went to Disney for 7 days, you have to make up that work and that time. So it is super important, if you get close to 10 absences in any one class or in several classes, you need to be talking to your teacher about completing recovery so that you can keep your passing grade at the end. If you miss school, certainly let us know. Email your teacher for any assignments. Definitely be keeping up with your Canvas page for each teacher. And then when you return, do makeup tests promptly. There is certainly a better graduation rate for students who attend school more regularly. You can see that if a student comes to school 95% of time or more, they have a much better graduation rate than anybody who comes less than that. Okay, switching over to Naviance. What is Naviance? This is a program that we use here at Audrey Kellen and CMS for career and post-secondary planning. It's also a great tool to use to learn about yourself. We're going to get more into it at the end for your activity today, but just know that Naviance is something you'll hear about a lot. You access it through the Launchpad. So if we ever say get on Naviance and do XYZ, you're going to go to your Launchpad and then click on Naviance Student Ingrained. So that is how you actually get to Naviance. Again, it's a tool that we use that has self-assessments. Eventually, it will help you with applying to college. There's a lot of different things on here, but for today, you just need to know to be able to go to the Launchpad and then click on Naviance Student Ingrained. Okay, if you are somebody who is thinking about going to a four-year college in North Carolina or otherwise, there are some minimum requirements. We generally make sure that every student is prepared and ready to apply to a UNC system school by the time you graduate, but you might want to take a look at some of these requirements that the UNC system does expect. There's a lot of post-secondary options. You're going to hear us talk about college a lot because I would say a majority of our students are four-year college bound. However, there are so many other options that we are happy and excited to talk to students about, such as the military, CPCC, which is a two-year college, going into the workforce, taking a gap year. There are so many different other options as well. So please do not hesitate to talk to a teacher or counselor about those because we are happy to share our knowledge on those things. We understand that not every kid is college bound, and that is okay. Okay, so talking about some things that you can do to be successful as a ninth grader. Certainly, we want you to get involved and have a nice balanced ninth grade year. We want you to be handling things academically, but also getting involved so that you can have better outcomes in the future. This means looking at clubs, organizations, getting involved in arts, athletics, work outside of school. Anything that you're doing outside of school is beneficial to you in the long run. If you're interested in clubs, certainly be listening to the announcements every day and paying attention to the TVs that are constantly playing the club announcements. But the easiest way to also look at a list is to Google Ardrey Cal ICC and look at the list of clubs there. We also have a lot of sports that you can view here if you're interested in playing a sport. That's an awesome way to be involved. And of course, we want you to access support when you need it. Ask your teacher about tutoring opportunities, schedule an appointment with your counselor. The time when you come in before school, before 7:15 is a great time to go seek out a teacher and ask a quick question or two. It's a good idea to join a co-curricular club. So for example, if you're somebody who is in marketing and really enjoying it and feel like you want a little bit more information or feel like you really enjoy that field, then join a club like DECA, or same for health science classes, joining HOSA or business classes, FBLA. There's a lot of clubs associated with classes that you might enjoy. And then, of course, using online resources such as Khan Academy and YouTube to help when you are stuck. Okay, traits of a successful freshman. You track your grades and assignments. You're involved in the school. You're taking full advantages of all the resources that we have. You're managing your time, you're accessing Naviance, you're attending school daily, and I'd like to add to this list, you're checking your student email. It is a great habit to get in to check your student email. Okay, so we also have a post-test. It is the exact same as the pre-test, but you do need to do it again. So homeroom teachers, if you could pause at this point so that the students can complete the post-test. Again, homeroom teachers, if you could pause at this point so that students can complete the post-test. Okay, thank you for completing the post-test. Next, we're going to move on to our Naviance activity. And homeroom teachers, you will pause on this page once I'm done speaking so that students can know exactly what they're asking, or I'm sorry, what they're asked to do. So what's going to happen today is you're going to go to Naviance from your Launchpad and you're going to do something called Achieve Works Skills. And this is required by CMS so that you can look at what skills you have. You're going to do an assessment to see what skills you already possess and what that could mean for careers in the future. So you might be somebody who's really good at talking to people, or one of your skills might be being a leader, or a skill could be, being a good reader. There's all kinds of different things. And this assessment is going to tell you what those skills are and show you some careers that are associated with those skills so that you can start to plan your high school path based on what you're already good at. We want to maximize what you're good at, what your strengths are. So that is the purpose of this. It is required by CMS to do this. We are able to see completion rates, and so are they. So it is very important that you take this seriously and complete it, because CMS is going to be looking for that completion. So what you're going to do is, once you get to Launchpad, you're going to click on Self-Discovery on the top menu. Then you'll click on Skills and then click Start Assessment. And again, it'll pop out some skills at a glance. So it'll tell you kind of what your top 9 skills are. For this student, it was leadership, creativity, and critical thinking. And then it'll give you some recommended careers at the bottom for you to explore. So take some time to do this today. That is your activity for the long homeroom. If you need anything, don't ever hesitate to reach out to your counselor. We are here to support you. And that's all I've got. Have a great day, freshmen.